I was delighted. I'm so glad you got the chance.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this August 11th, 2023 virtual special administration meeting. Well, it's a hybrid, sorry, it says virtual here, of the Bernalillo County Commission to order. Commissioner Quesada will be appearing on Zoom. And we do have a quorum. So I would start with a moment of silence. I would like to express respect and prayers to our brothers and sisters in Maui going through what we're going through now with this. So a moment of silence, and then Commissioner Benson will lead the pledge. Thank you. And I also would like to wish Commissioner Benson a happy birthday today. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Any announcements or additions or changes to the agenda? Seeing none. We will go to public comment first, and then we will hear from the applicants today in alphabetical order, and then we will have open discussion, and then we will go to nominations, and the majority vote will be the rule of the day. So we will start with public comment. Speakers are limited to the first 30 speakers who have signed up. You will have 1 minute to share your comments. You will then be notified when your time is up. For those participating via Zoom, you will be muted and moved to the attendee status. Julianne, how many do we have signed up to speak? And please call the first name.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 24 signed up today, combination of in-person and Zoom participants. So we will start with the in-person speakers, beginning with Della Moya, Greg Seeley, Julian Moya. If you could please make your way down to the podium.
Yes, please.
I have to pull out my notes because I'm not a public speaker, so this is crazy.
Welcome.
Okay, my name's Della Moya. I am here because I am so honored to have met Sofia Sanchez 8 years ago. And in those 8 years, she has come to be, I want to adopt her. I've lived in District 25 for 40 years. I have neighbors who have lived there longer than me. We have newcomers. We love our neighborhood. There are a lot of issues that affect us that Sophia happened to talk about on Wednesday last week. My husband and I are retired, so I'm home now taking care of him, and I see a lot more that happens, activity that's not so good in the neighborhood. So I know that Sophia, being a longtime resident, has also experienced everything that we know is happening. Living a few blocks from me, District 25 has been her home as well.
Ms. Moya, thank you so much for coming. We're going to try to keep everyone to respect everyone's time to a minute. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Baca, Vice Chair Barboa, fellow commissioners. My name is Greg Seeley. I'm a lifelong resident of Bernalillo County. I'm a retired Air Force veteran of Operation Enduring Freedom, and I'm here today to offer my strongest possible endorsement for Sofia Sanchez. Sophia was my direct supervisor for over 2 years when we served on Congresswoman Deb Haaland's staff, and I cannot think of a better leader, a more inclusive leader who has championed bringing voices that have not been heard before into the conversation throughout Congressional District 1 as we serve together. I urge the committee to consider the incredible historic federal funding that is coming our way. As someone who has experience at the federal and local level, she is the right candidate to tie those considerations at the state level and ensure New Mexico gets the resources it needs. Her expertise and her leadership make her the perfect fit, and her connection to the district, I think, is the ultimate consideration. As of all the candidates, she has the deepest connection to the district. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Julian Moya, followed by Saviana Moya, followed by Carlos Rodriguez.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, my name is Julian Moya, and I'm here as a constituent of House District 25. And I'm here to ask for your vote to support Sophia Sanchez in the appointment to the House of Representatives. Sophia has received the endorsement from former State Representative Christine Trujillo to fill her vacant seat. Ms. Trujillo's endorsement speaks much better to Sophia's character, work ethic, and commitment to House District 25 than I can rattle off in under a minute. In addition to Representative Trujillo, Sophia has endorsements from Interior Secretary Deb Haaland, Congresswoman Melanie Stansberry, Senator Brenda McKenna, Representative Miguel Garcia, Representative Eleanor Chavez, Representative Day Hockman Vigil, City Council President Pat Davis, City Councilor Clarissa Pena, and Planned Parenthood. Sophia Sanchez is a representative House District 25 deserves. Thank you for your time.
Salviana Moya, followed by Carlos Rodriguez, followed by Kayla Herring.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, my name is Saviana Moya. I would like to thank you all for listening to my comments today. I am too young to vote, so it's important to me to make my voice heard. I am here on behalf of my stepmother, Sophia Sanchez. Sophia has been endorsed by former Representative Christine Trujillo, who worked with students from my school to pass legislation this past session. I know that Sophia will continue to advocate for youth voices. I admire Sophia for many things, including her dedication and passion for serving her community. I believe it would be a disservice to House District 25 to not appoint Sophia Sanchez. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Carlos Rodriguez. I am a resident here in Albuquerque, and I'm coming to speak in support of Christina Parajon in the appointment for the HC25 seat. Christina and I attended the same graduate program, getting our Master's of Management Science at Tsinghua University, and it was a program that was really focused on leadership, community engagement, bringing together people from all over the world. Christina was the only person from New Mexico, and she represented the state well, the community well, and when she came back, has been serving our city, and so she's the right person to serve this district in the state legislature. And as a young Latino, seeing young people in our government, people that represent us, is something that's really important to me, and so I urge and support Christina's appointment for the HC25 seat. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kayla Herring, followed by Moses Gonzalez, followed by Nicole Rogers.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Kayla Herring, and I'm the Public Affairs Director for Planned Parenthood Votes New Mexico. I'm excited and proud today to share that Planned Parenthood Votes New Mexico's endorsement committee has put our trust in Sophia Sanchez for the House District 25 nomination. There were two factors that made Sophia stand out among the rest in this process. One is that community endorsements mean just as much to us as elected endorsements. And we were so proud to see how many women of color and queer women of color from the reproductive justice world had come forward to personally endorse Sophia, including Marcia Garcia, Sydney Tellez, Monet Silva, Rachel Maestas, and Bunny Wells Cruz. And elections have always mattered, but in this critical time for abortion access, they mattered that much more. We believe that Sophia is the candidate who can get us through the 24 election cycle and do so in a way that will center community in the community that she's so rooted in. We are proud to stand alongside constituents for this nomination. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moses Gonzalez, followed by Nicole Rogers, followed by Angie Paz.
Madam Chair, members of the County Commission, my name is Moises Gonzalez. I'm a resident of Atrisco and a resident of Carnuet, so I kind of have two commissioners kind of. I'm actually registered out of Riverview, Northwest. I am the chair of the Community Regional Planning Program. I'm a professor of urban design. I'm also the vice president of the Cañón de Carnuet Land Grant. I've had the pleasure to work on policy issues related to land and water with Sophia Sanchez, and I strongly endorse consideration of Sophia Sanchez for this seat. Her background and her knowledge and connection with community matters, And I think by the amount of folks that are speaking on her behalf shows the stretch of impact that she's had for working in the past for now Secretary Deb Haaland and the Secretary of Interior, and as well as our current congressional delegation.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
I don't know if Nicole's here. It doesn't look like it. So I will go. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My wife and I, Brittany, you might recognize from redistricting, bought a house in House District 25 3 years ago, and we plan to make it our forever home. We started a consulting business there. We really care about the future of this district. And it's really cool to see how many folks have stepped up to put their names in the hat for this nomination. But I'm here this morning to support Sofia Sanchez. Representative Trujillo has provided over a decade of really dedicated service for our state and our district. And in the wake of her well-deserved retirement, I can think of nobody better to step into her shoes than Sofia. Her roots in this district, her lifelong dedication to our state and to our people, and her knowledge of federal issues like Greg mentioned and queer and trans issues make her, in my opinion, the best one to represent us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nicole Rogers. Followed by Brenda McKenna, followed by Becky Kaplan.
Good morning, Commissioners. My apologies for missing my name the first time. My name is Nicole Rogers, and I'm here to speak on behalf of House District 25 nominee for Cristina Parajon. I had a pleasure of working with Cristina at the City of Albuquerque when I was a mayor appointee. A lot of community engagement. It was a lot of our work together. And a lot around homelessness in the Gateway Center. And I witnessed her work, her passion for our community, and she comes naturally with an equity lens. I worked in equity and inclusion, and I didn't have to explain to her how important it was to make sure the space was appropriate for the folks that we're going to serve in that space, which we know from our data that the homelessness problem we have is all across the city. And I saw her really advocate, work with community to make sure that their voices were heard. And I saw her fight on the inside to make sure that we listened to community. And it's sad that we have to do that a lot, but she is somebody who will do that without fear. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am Brenda McKenna, and I serve as a state senator for District 9 and as a field representative and constituent representative for Congresswoman Stansberry. I've written a letter to all of you asking you for your consideration for Ms. Sofia Sanchez for HD 25. In it, I stated how I've worked with her since 2019, when we both worked for Secretary Haaland when she was our Congresswoman. I provided you with those attributes, and told you why I believe she should have the opportunity to do so. Some may be curious what it means to work for both the state legislature and a congressional office. The House Ethics Manual Committee Standards of Official Conduct, page 142, says there is absolutely no prohibition against doing so. And what has that meant for me? When I'm in session, I take vacation pay and leave of absence. I do not accept complimentary meals or gifts, and I believe Ms. Sanchez would do the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
Becky Kaplan, followed by Therese Hauji, followed by Janae Hernandez.
Hi, my name is Becky Kaplan, and I'm here to support Robert L. Padilla. He would not only be a great asset to the House District 25, but to the entire state of New Mexico. I had the honor to work with him when he was the CEO at MetroCourt. He led the judiciary with his innovative ideas. There's many district and magistrate courts in New Mexico, and when Robert had a vision to improve the courts, they all joined him. He is a great leader and really proved that when he went to the legislators with his ideas to improve the courts, and they sponsored the bills. In addition to my professional relationship with him, he is a close family friend. What I know about Robert is he will give 110% to things he is passionate about. He is passionate about District 25, where he raised his children and still coaches. I have witnessed this firsthand when it comes to his work, family, friends. He will be a dedicated full-time representative. I urge you to appoint Robert L. Padilla because he will make the changes New Mexico needs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and County Commissioners. My name is Therese Hauge, and I had the honor of knowing Mr. Robert Padilla for the past 30 years. I first met Robert Padilla when I was hired in the early 90s at the Bernalillo County Metropolitan Court, and through the years as Robert worked his way up for the state government, he demonstrated leadership, he was innovative, he was hands-on and worked in a lot of programs that helped the homeless, as well as behavioral health programs for the city, state, and county. Mr. Padilla, with his amount of success, never forgot where he came from. He grew up in the South Valley with 13 siblings, and I was always amazed by that because I had one sister. And two things that he cared about in this state are his family and his community, and he's never really forgotten about those things. He's grassroots level. If there's a parade or an event in the South Valley, he was recently at the South Valley Pride celebration. He was at the LGBTQIA parade. All of those things matter to him, and the people matter to him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Janae Hernandez, followed by Aurelio Gallardo, followed by Senator Antonio Maestas.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you all for your time. I stand here before today to show my support for Robert L. Padilla as House Representative for District 25 due to his dedication in helping others in his community. I'm a probation officer with Metro Court, our specialty courts program, that for one of the programs that Robert Padilla has helped oversee. I've known Robert for over 14 years. He was actually my coach at the Albuquerque High School softball team. I get emotional because I think this guy was really instrumental in reference to my success and who I am today. He gave me the opportunity not only on and off the field, but in my career. He's really poured into not just my success, but in all of my other teammates. And I wish they could be here today. But again, I do know that he's willing to give back to his community, not just for himself, but for others, especially for those that he's coached, that he's truly impacted the lives of those. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Aurelio Gallardo. I'm here to endorse Robert L. Padilla. I have known Robert for almost 30 years myself. I had the pleasure of working under him. I knew him since he was just a regular employee at Metro Court. I saw him make his way up all the way to the CEO of the largest and busiest court in the state of New Mexico. The one thing that makes Robert stand out is that he is a public servant. He knows the meaning and he has the attitude of a public servant. He always puts other people's needs before his. And that's something that never changed, even when he was a CEO of Metro Court. And that's something that New Mexico needs. And this seat, I think, would be perfect for him. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution of the State of New Mexico regarding the filling of vacancies says such legislative appointment shall be for the term ending on December 31, subsequent to the next general election. I want to congratulate all the leaders running today and look forward to working with the new House member appointed. New Mexico needs to move to a special election, but in the meantime, we need to make it as democratic as possible. And so we can learn from the debacles of last year. This is a celebration with District 25. There should be an ovation when someone is nominated. There should be a swearing in on the spot here today. And a letter should go to the Speaker of the House, not the governor. And don't send it 2 hours after opening day in the hopes of trying to illegally manufacture a different outcome.
Thank you, Senator.
Juan Herrera.
Hello, my name is Juan Herrera, the current president of the Cañon de Carmen Land Grant. I'm here in support of Sofia Sanchez, District 25, which a few of our heirs are a part of. And all the hard work she's done, we think that she is definitely the best candidate, and we thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes in-person speakers. However, I'm not seeing everyone who has signed up to provide comments over Zoom, so I'll call those names now if you all decided to attend in person. Diana Dorn-Jones, Venice Ceballos. Okay, if you could come on up. Candido Archuleta, Sarah Serrani,
Hello, everyone. Good morning. So I am Vanessa Ceballos, and I am the Director of Community Health Worker Initiatives at the University of New Mexico. And I am here in support for Cristina Parajon, District 25. The reason I am supporting her is because through our programs, we get to see what is really happening out in our communities regarding homelessness, substance abuse, behavioral health, and really addressing the social determinants of health that then impact our communities. Working with Cristina, she's young, full of energy, and it has been demonstrating that she can do this work alongside our community and our community members. So we just need people like her that think like our communities, live that same air, breathe that same air, and really understand the real challenges and are not afraid to address them. So again, I support her 100%.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to speakers via Zoom. First, I have Denise Hammer.
Hello, commissioners. My name is Denise Hammer. I'm a resident of District 25, and I want to express my enthusiastic support for Cristina Parajon. I am the Vice President of the Altura Edition Neighborhood Association and an architect in our community, working for over 30 years to positively address the same issues that Cristina has been immersed in through much of her career, including the critical issues that face our communities, such as homelessness and healthcare. Through her work with the Gateway community, she's shown that she can lead and engage community members to create positive and effective outcomes. Cristina has fantastic energy and enthusiasm, as well as the forward-thinking vision to tackle the difficult problems facing New Mexico. Our pathway forward towards a bright future depends upon the involvement of responsible and spirited people like Cristina Parajon, and I'm grateful that she's pursuing this position and has the opportunity to represent us and work for us. Please choose Cristina Parajon as our representative. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kathleen Burke.
Good morning, members of the commission and members of the community. My name is Kathleen Burke. I am an Albuquerque resident for over 20 years. I am a member of the League of Women Voters of New Mexico, and you might know that at the League of Women Voters, we're very concerned with good government. I am here today to speak with you, commissioners, not about any particular candidates. You have a really nice group from which to choose and from which to appoint. Like Senator Maestas, I would like to speak to you briefly about process. And it appears to me from information provided to me that there's a process problem here, which is that some of the candidates, if at least one, perhaps more, are what we in the old-fashioned world would call carpetbaggers. These are candidates who signed up to vote, registered to vote in District 25, but prior to
thank you, Ms. Burke.
This very recently were not members or weren't living in that district.
Thank you, Ms. Burke. Your time is up. Thank you very much for your comments.
Robert Poole.
Hello, my name is Robert Poole. I'm a local entrepreneur in support of Brian Thomas for District 25. Brian Thomas has had a huge impact on my life. He has mentored me from a very young age, and I wouldn't be as successful as I am without his support in all of our businesses. And I know that he has supported many New Mexico businesses. Brian operates with integrity and character. He's very well-rounded. He looks at all sides of issues and looks for the best results for the community and the right thing to do always. He's pragmatic and takes a very sensible approach. And I think Brian would make a very positive impact if he were elected. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And lastly, Lucas Delgado.
Buenos dias, good morning, Chair Baca and esteemed members of the Commission. My name is Lucas Coco Delgado, an educator deeply invested in the future of our students. I've known Cristina for over a decade and can attest to her unwavering commitment to public service and her genuine representation of the younger generation, which is pivotal to the Legislative Assembly. While experience is valuable, fresh perspectives are equally essential. The community's overwhelming support for Cristina is a testament to her dedication and potential. With Cristina, upon appointment, she would be the nation's youngest Latina legislator and the only female Asian legislator in her 20s. By supporting Cristina, you're not just recognizing her merit, but actively bridging the present with the future of New Mexico. I strongly urge you to seize this opportunity and appoint Cristina Parajon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes public comment.
Thank you all, and thank you all for coming, and we can hear the passion, and we're very pleased that you are all here. This is a very important role that we as commissioners play, so thank you again. And I would like to thank all the candidates before you start speaking, and we'll call you up in alphabetical order, but I do want to say that this process has been vetted, it has been transparent, it is a good process, we believe, and we are moving forward with the good of the community in our hearts, in our heads. So thank you all very much. So I'll start with Dennis Litvinenko. Yes. Thank you, sir. And you have 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you, Chair Baca, Commissioners. My name is Dennis Litvinenko. I have been a resident of House District 25 for 6 years. I'm an immigrant and a United States Army veteran. I'm appalled at what I see on the streets, homelessness, drug addicts, crimes, and I believe that whoever becomes the next representative need to do more about these problems. And I will support them regardless of their party affiliation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, Robert L. Padilla.
Good morning, County Commissioners. My name is Robert Lee Padilla. I recently retired from the Metropolitan Court, where I served for over 32 years. I was responsible for a $30 million budget the entire time. I'm a good steward of public finance. I take my fiduciary responsibilities very seriously. I also served as a court executive. I also served as the chair of the Court Executive Council for over 9 years. I was elected to 3 terms. I also sat on the New Mexico Judicial Budget Committee. I also been very active in the community. I coached youth sports for over 25 years. I also have coached high school sports for the last 12 years. They recruited me for high school softball, and then I moved over to baseball. And I've also coached classes there. So I feel like I'm definitely an educator. I'm very familiar with the legislative session. I testified every year for over in front of 7 to 8 committees annually. I also have, prior to starting my career at the Metropolitan Court, I attended and graduated from the University of New Mexico, where I received my Bachelor of Arts degree in criminal justice. And I did receive financial assistance and financial aid, and without that, I couldn't have done that. I also want to mention that I have raised my children in that community. I've lived in that district for over 30 years, and you have a unique opportunity today to appoint somebody who not only an educator, an administrator, and is a proven leader. I've been in Santa Fe. I've been successful there. I have received numerous capital requests in Santa Fe and have been successful there. So I urge you and thank you to appoint me.
Padilla. Cristina Parajon.
In high school, I thought I would become a doctor. I walked the halls of UNM maternity ward where I was born 16 years prior. I met a new mom who was only a few years older than me in the wards. It should have been the happiest day of her life, but she was worried about where she was going to go after the hospital discharged her. It was that experience, among many others in my life, that taught me how policies affect the dreams of our families in New Mexico. Today, I'm pursuing my dream and that of my community, to run for office, to address these policies, and to represent the district I love and have called home. I've been moved, having counted more than 100 letters of support, neighbors who believe in me and know me, and won the most votes in the first Democratic debate forum for an appointment. I'm used to being the youngest at tables that have determined real policies and projects in our city. At 23, I was a deputy incident commander of one of the largest state isolation facilities in New Mexico for COVID. At 24, I was on teams advising the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies on billion-dollar investment opportunities. At 25, I was a gateway administrator leading one of the biggest infrastructure projects in the city. And at 27, I'm the youngest in the room by many years as the director of strategy for the Human Services Department. I have been entrusted with these positions because I know how to get things done, because I bring energy, and because I bring a fresh perspective. I've been in local government, and I know what we can do for our city when we work together with the legislature. Count on me to build consensus for housing policies. Count on me to advocate for bettering the health of New Mexicans, and count on me to build job opportunities for our next generation here at home. My name is Cristina Parajon, and I want to work with you in the legislature. For the dreams in my community, I stand on the shoulders of my elders that have mentored me here today. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Ms. Sofia Sanchez.
Chairwoman and Commissioners, my name is Sofia Michelle Sanchez. I am the daughter and granddaughter of those who taught me to care and operate from a communal mindset. I am the proud heir of both the Trisco and Manzano land grants, and if you know New Mexico, you know the values of these families of the traditional communities. The teachings of my ancestors in the fight to keep traditions, protection of lands, and justice are ingrained in me. I come from people who had the struggle of having to be twice as good and receiving half as much. We don't get things handed to us, we do what is right by our neighbors, and we never take anything for granted. I was born and raised in HD 25, attending Cleveland Middle School, Sandia High School, and UNM. I bought my home in the district 5 years ago. It was my grandparents' home where my mother grew up and where I lived. I live and work in the district, so I see it every day. I see the issues that are important to my neighbors and surrounding businesses. I have called this district home for over 30 years and my family for over 60. This is deeply personal for me. I don't want to hold just any office. I want to hold this office. I have proven in my decade of public service, helping our most successful public officials bring resources to our communities. As a staffer to 2 mayors and 2 congressional members, I understand that the efforts of the community are done by the community, and it would be an honor of a lifetime to take these concerns and ideas to the halls of the Roundhouse as state representative. My work, my lived experience, and my ancestors have prepared me for the weight of this responsibility. This is reflected by the trust, support, and endorsements I have received from outgoing State Representative Christine Trujillo, Congresswoman Melanie Stansberry, Interior Secretary Deb Haaland, State Representatives, Planned Parenthood, and a number of New Mexicans that you all received letters and calls from. I am ready for this job day one. I have the support system behind me to be a long-standing advocate for HD 25. I humbly ask for your support in appointing me to the House of Representatives. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brian Thomas.
Thank you and good morning. Madam Chair, members of the Commission, you've read my resume, you read my cover letter. I'm not going to itemize my background, but I am going to tell you about a couple of parts of my history. I went to a school overseas, and the school taught one thing at its core, and the core was communication. The communication needed to be both directions, and that meant I needed to hear and I needed to share. With each of you, I've had the chance to communicate. I've had the opportunity to hear what your interests were, what your priorities were. We all shared the same community priorities. Those are crime, education, and economics. We've talked about housing as a factor of all of those. We've talked about crime as a factor of all of those. And you shared some of your ideas. I also shared learned experiences, not of mine, but of those who have entrusted me with that information. Those learned experiences taught me that our halfway house system, our criminal justice system, has failed parts of our community. It's failed me, it's failed you, it's failed all of our community. I learned that our economic development system, from those same clients, Mr. Poole is one of those, that it has also failed parts of our community. It's failed because it's failed to attack one of the core problems, and that's looking at small employment opportunities, small business opportunities, growing local, building local, being local, and being part of a community. And with some of you, I also was able to share the learned experience of the failures of the integrated design ordinance in the city of Albuquerque, because it has successfully attacked our communities. It's denied voices to members of our community. That is what I'd like to address in the legislature, all of these things. With you, I shared two of the key priorities that I intend to work on. Those are addressing a complex problem of tying together the reintegration of citizens who have paid their price for the wrongs they've done when they want to walk the right path. I apologize.
Thank
I'm
you.
out of time.
Thank you. Mr. Andres Valdez.
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to apply for District 25 State Rep. I am the most qualified candidate. 37 years experience, legislative experience, with all due respect to the other applicants. However, I received a report last night from a well-known political analyst, Pete Bernalillo. I'm very concerned about this appointment process that's going on. It appears to be deceptive, especially for the applicants that did their best to apply for this position. Apparently, according to Mr. Bernalillo, 3 confidential sources within the Democratic Party, including one who's a ward chair, has confirmed that Progressive Democrat Adrian Barboa recruited Progressive Democrat Cristina Parajon to apply for House District vacancy 20 for District 25. Apparently, a voter registration card reveals that she had lived outside the district and that she merely registered only 22 days before the applications were being accepted. It's very concerning that this occurred. If it occurred, I think there needs to be an investigation done about this. I don't usually take information just because it's out there. I think that it needs to be looked at and investigated. Basically, he's alleging, and I'm concerned, that the county commissioner went out of her way to recruit her own candidate.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm very concerned. I think something needs to be done.
Thank you, sir. Time is up. Thank you.
A new decision made about, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Derek Villanueva.
Good morning, Madam Chair, County Commissioners. It's an honor to be here. My name is Derek Villanueva. I am a high school social studies teacher, a proud union member, and leader of the Albuquerque Teachers Federation, where I served as former treasurer. I grew up from a working class family. I know what it's like when things are tough and you have to move in with family, and depending on what night it is, you might be sleeping on the floor or the bed. I also know the transformative power of education. Being the first person in my family to go to university and later graduate school, that not only changes me, but it also has changed my family and can change the community. My job is political, although I'm not a career politician. Everything I do in my job, from the time that I have to show up to work, to what I can teach, to how much I'm paid, is all political. Every morning that I'm in my classroom, I serve my community, and I also see the effects that bad policy and good policy have immediately on my students. I don't only teach New Mexico history and US history, but I also have to try to help support my students in their mental health, their physical health, access to food, access to affordable housing, giving them the supports that they need in order to be successful. With that experience, I share that with many of the people within District 25 as well. And I'm hoping that I can apply both my professional and my personal background to be a conduit, a voice, a bridge between the Roundhouse and those people of 25. My heart is in this. I believe in this community. Being a community organizer within the union, I know that there's wisdom in the collective, and that will be my commitment, is to serve the collective. My position as a representative is just that, to represent. So I thank you for this honor, and I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, sir. So that concludes our speakers, our applicants, and thank you all again very much for putting your names forward. We really appreciate your devotion to your community and to Bernalillo County, to the state of New Mexico. I'm going to open the discussion for the commissioners. And commissioners, do you have any questions or comments for the applicants? Commissioner Benson.
Thank you. Yes, I just want to say thank you to all the applicants. This takes a lot of courage, and it's very stressful, and I was honored to be able to speak with each of you. So thank you for taking the time to answer my questions and be thoughtful. And Madam Chair, I guess I want to ask a general question to the group of candidates and for any kind of a response. But my concerns with our community are ultimately it's the brain drain. Our number one export in the state is our people. Used to be green chili, now it's just our people. And the exodus is being led by better jobs elsewhere, less crime, and higher educational standards. So I've spoken to each of you about that, and that's my concern. So really, that's where whoever I think can impact those three areas and create an environment that keeps our residents here, attracts our former residents back, and potentially brings new residents here, that's what we need. So, in my opinion. So with that, is there anybody, are there any thoughts aside from what you've already presented that would address those three issues?
I guess in the spirit of our time and in respecting everyone, I will offer the opportunity for candidates to have, or applicants to have an equal opportunity to respond to any questions or directed to them. So Ms. Parajon, did you have a comment? And very briefly too.
Madam Chair,
yes.
If I could, piggybacking on your comments, if we can keep the answers less than a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge question, and we had a chance to discuss it over the phone. But
that's great. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Julianne, you go ahead and come up to the mic, and when it turns yellow, you'll have 30 more seconds. So that's okay. Thank you.
As a young person who left Albuquerque to pursue opportunities, I came back, and I came back because I wanted to change my community. I have worked in the private sector, and so I know what it takes to bring jobs. And I'm also multicultural, and I'm proud to be half Taiwanese and half Nicaraguan. And we see now in our city, we have investments, huge investments happening from Singapore just yesterday, $1 billion, bringing over 1,000 jobs, and also Taiwan building a new factory. And so I really believe that in our future is green, and that we can make jobs here. We are the second in terms of sun in the whole nation, but we only are the 15th in solar. And so I see that there are so many opportunities for us to bring jobs here in New Mexico, and I want to be the bridge as a person who is multicultural to make those opportunities happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Villanueva?
One word, education. All three of those issues are rooted in education, right? How do you attract businesses to New Mexico when businesses do not want to come to New Mexico because they don't have an adequately trained workforce? We know this in education. Sixth grade is kind of that magic year. It's the coin toss that really determines a student's future and whether they're going to fall into the cycle of poverty and violence. We can trace that. It's very well documented, right? I want to applaud the work that the governor and the legislature have done to improve our education system recently, but we're struggling with a decades-long system of underfunding and devaluing of public education. So if we really want to take a look at the root cause of these three things, it really is with education. And the solution is not going to come in a year. It's not going to come in 5 years, right? But we have to be committed to long-term sustainable solutions to our education issues if we really want to make positive solutions, viable solutions to each of these issues, Mr. Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Thomas.
I echo some of what each of them said, but I'd also like to talk about economic development, because our economic development model ultimately is what creates opportunity. And what our citizens need, what our youth need, what our businesses need is a perception of opportunity. And opportunity is how you experience it individually, that upward mobility, the potentiality of that upward mobility. It touches on housing. If houses are too expensive to buy, why would you stay here? Why would you want to rent? You would want to buy a house. How do you do that? You generate housing that appeals to different layers of groups. As they stay here, they model the behaviors that we want. Home ownership. The citizens who have spoken today are homeowners. They're committed to their community. That's the fabric that we grow. It's the inoculant for the concern that the commissioner's raising, is speaking to that economic opportunity. Of course, it also is that education is essential. How do you renovate education? Exactly what he was discussing. You invest in the long term, you create standards, and you make them reliable and trustworthy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Sanchez.
Like I've said before, budgets are moral documents. And where we're investing our money is really going to show what we care about. And, investing money in education and economic development and making sure that we're really taking care of our children and that are from here and making sure that they're uplifted. I think that's how we're going to keep them here. I know attending Sandia High School, I didn't know I could have a job at Sandia National Labs, right? And now working where I work, I'm there and there's these jobs and opportunities, but I really feel like we fail our children in the school system and telling them what they can do and the possibilities here in New Mexico. So I think that's, one way is start from the bottom up and make sure that we're nurturing that from a young age. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Padilla.
Thank you. I think one of the major issues that we need to address is crime. Major businesses don't want to come here, and a lot of people are taking their private practice to other states. And I think the first thing that we need to address is that. The other thing we need to address is our public universities and enrollments. The nursing program, there's so many young adults that are getting denied. And I think we really need to invest. And we need to invest in our state and local and government employees and paying them competitive rate wages. Also, we have currently that we are paying our traveling nurses 4 times the rate that we're currently paying our current nurses. So we really need to look at that, but we need to address the crime issues. And there's multiple things we need to do when we address the crime issue. And one of that is look at the vote that we took in 2016, where we made a constitutional amendment of detain or release these individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Valdez.
Thank you, Commissioners. I, in part, come from a rural background, so it's always been my concern regarding education, how kids that graduate from high school, immediately they leave town. Hardly anybody stays in a rural setting once they want to move on in life. This is tied to economics. There needs to be a real push, and Commissioner Benson and I talked about this, a real push for economic development in rural areas that's tied to education. Another aspect I think is really important that we need to excel in is that I'm not sure how much the entrepreneurial spirit is being pushed out there in the educational system. Um, that's a real big need for self-sufficiency for New Mexico to be able to develop, for New Mexicans to be able to develop
Thank you, Mr.
better.
Valdez.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'll go back to the commission. Any, was it? Oh. I'll just give the opportunity. You don't have to speak, so we're just going to give equal opportunity to everyone. Any other comments, commissioners?
Madam Chair?
Mr. Quesada, Commissioner Quesada.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I'd like to apologize to everybody in the room. I am driving back from Bloomfield. I have been spending the week talking to educators around the state of New Mexico so we could prepare for our journey for this year for public education. Unfortunately, I wasn't really asked if I was available for this meeting. It was just scheduled and moved forward. So I apologize for not being in the room. My comment is pretty simple. I just want to thank everybody for putting your name in the hat. I think that the diverse group of really great community leaders that live in District 25 is amazing. That speaks pretty high for District 25. I think everybody brings a unique perspective to the table. I just want to just say that I hope and I pray that everybody that's sitting in this room that put their name in the hat is also going to today announce their campaign to run for this seat. I think it's very important that you show the community not only were you willing to be appointed, but you're willing to go fight for that seat. I think that if you truly, truly want to be sitting in that seat, if you truly, truly believe that you are the person that could bring change to the state of New Mexico, then that starts with a campaign. So I hope that we actually really let the voters choose who will be the representative in that district, and that will happen after a duly elected person is sent to the legislature. So I'm hoping and praying that you all announce your candidacy and really prove to the community that you want that seat, because change comes with that passion. Everybody spoke today with passion, but no one ever really said today that I'm going to run for that seat no matter what. And that matters. That should matter to the community, and that should matter to each individual who wants to be appointed. That's our job. We just appoint. We don't hold elections. We don't do any of those things. We appoint, and then we let the community do their job and elect the next representative. So again, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm headed home, and hopefully I won't get kicked off the internet because our broadband in New Mexico is not the greatest. But I'm going to try to stay on the whole time and be able to participate with nominations and voting. But again, thank you, and thank you, Madam Chair, for the moment. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner Quesada. And for the record, I would like to say that I feel that this process has been very transparent, very open, very well publicized. And so I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. Any other commissioners? Vice Chair Barboa.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to back that up. I feel like this is going to be the 8th appointment that I've been involved in. I take it super seriously because this person, all the now going to be 8 people that we've appointed go and represent their communities. And like Commissioner Quesada said, right, sometimes they never have to even get a vote for that. So I was so proud of actually the work that you, Chair, and Commissioner Olivas led to make sure that we actually have a process where people's names are available before you end up here at this day-to-day and just see the candidates for the first time. So the candidates' names and their bios have been posted. Community members, especially people in House District 25, I've been able to view and see the candidates that are going forth for that seat. And I'm also super proud and thankful to the Democrat Party ward that held the forum, because I think the more ways that we get to hear from candidates, the more that voters in that district get to be engaged and see the potential candidates for their seat. So I just wanted to make sure to say that, because I think I've been alarmed since I've got on here, like the five of us get to make decisions about this very important role. And so I think the more democratic we can be, the better. So I just wanted to name that out, and I think we can always keep getting better. So taking the ideas.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from the commissioners? Okay, hearing none, I will now call for any motions to fill the vacancy of HD 25.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Olivas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I make a nomination, I wanted to briefly just make a few comments here on the process. The process is never perfect. This is, by definition, an imperfect process when we have 5 commissioners making a decision for somewhere around 25,000 people that vote in this district. But I wanted to say that it's very dangerous, the corrosive effects on our democracy of attacking the process. We've all seen very dangerous politicians in our country that have attacked the democratic process, that have attacked the institutions that underpin our democracy. And when you're dissatisfied with the outcome of an election, the answer is not to attack the election or the officials behind the election or the individuals that run the elections. The answer is to run for office. The answer is to push for change. The answer is not to call into question the values of our democracy. And when I put forward the resolution to reform the way that we ran this process, it was rooted in the fact that we previously had a process that was shrouded in secrecy, a 10-day timeline. In this process, we've received more letters than we've ever received before. Nearly 400 letters from members of the community supporting different candidates. That's a testament to the process and the ability of the community to participate in this in a meaningful way. I'm sure all of us commissioners, myself included, have received many, many phone calls, text messages, lots of communication from the public and with our excellent slate of candidates that we have here before us today. We had a community forum, which, to my knowledge, is the first time in history that one of these House District or Senate District appointments, we were able to have the time to allow the community to organize a forum and ask our candidates to participate, share their ideas, share their backgrounds, and make their case to the community as to why they are the right candidate. We allowed time for candidates to run a real campaign. There's never enough time in anything that we do. But I truly believe that this process was an incredible success because of the time that we allowed for the community to participate in this, in choosing their representative, in helping us choose their representative, I should say. And lastly, releasing those names and bios rather than today, as the last process was. I had people calling me last time saying, who are the candidates the morning of? We don't have that problem this time. So I want to thank my colleagues up here who supported those changes. We can always do better, as Commissioner Barboa said, but I believe that we've made a substantial improvement in the process. I want to thank everybody that's come out here this morning to make comments, everybody that sent us emails. Your voices are heard. As in any electoral process, there are winners and losers. That's how this works. But as Commissioner Quesada sagely said, I hope that every single one of you will run for this office, because I truly believe this is one of the most difficult decisions that I've had to make in my short elected career. But all of you brought something to the table, and all of the community expressed concerns that are so valid and so poignant. And I just want to encourage you again that I think every single person here brings something to the table, and I hope that you will participate in the democratic process that is a primary campaign and a general election campaign that is truly where the mandate of the voters comes from. But that being said, I want to say that I have a couple of issues that I heard when I was running for office that were very clearly and pointedly addressed by several of the candidates, but I believe most articulately by one. And that's ultimately what we have to choose up here. I believe we have a homelessness crisis on our streets every day. Homelessness and behavioral health, the interconnection of those two is growing and worsening, and we are seeing a sick society, and we are seeing the results of that on our streets, impacting our businesses, our neighborhoods, our parks, everything around us. And coupled with that, we're seeing the devastating effects of climate change around us every single day, as we just experienced a heat wave in July that was miserable and unmitigated. And we are doing very little at the state level to address this. And so for those two reasons, I'm honored to make the nomination for Ms. Cristina Parajon for House District 25. Having lived in this House District my entire life, I believe she's the right person to represent this House District and the state of New Mexico in addressing these critical issues and others. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been a motion been made and seconded. I will take this opportunity to nominate Sofia Sanchez. I think I would echo what Commissioner Olivas has said, that we have some real issues that we are facing as a community, as a city, a county, and a state. I think that Sofia is the right person to address these because of her experience and at the local level as well as at the federal level. And with that, I would make that nomination.
Second.
It's been moved in second.
Madam Chair.
Any other Commissioner Quesada?
Yes, if I'm able to, I would like to nominate a couple. I would like to nominate Mr. Padilla and Mr. Valenzuela. I think they both also bring a perspective to what is important. I think they both also understand the importance of unions and the importance of organizing to better our community. Like I said earlier, they're all great. They're all fantastic. They all bring a great thing. But I want to name them both because I'm afraid my signal's going to come. I'm going to lose my signal out here. So I just wanted to see if I could just nominate them both, so at least they're there and they're on the nomination list.
I would second both of that. Thank you.
So
second to Robert Padilla and Derek Villanueva.
Any other nominations? With that, I will close the nominations, and as I've said at the beginning, what this is we will vote, and the first candidate who has the majority vote will be selected, and we will go in the order of nomination. So, Cristina Parajon. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Quesada.
No.
Commissioner Benson.
Yes.
Commissioner Olivas.
Yes.
Vice Chair Barboa.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes. So called. So that ends our discussion today. Thank you all again for being here, for working with us in this difficult decision, but I think that we have, as we've said, it's been an open, transparent process, and we really appreciate you all. After we adjourn, we will move to a swearing in. It is the candidate's prerogative whether we do a swearing in now or in the future, but with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Big public up at